Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. This is an Androsphinx and it's a guardian from Ankh, gods of Egypt. He's primed in skeleton bone because we're going to be trying some different, nothing different actually. We're just putting some Agrax Earthshade, which on the white gives a really nice gray flesh tone, but on this color, as you can see, it actually gives it a brown flesh tone. So I actually liked it though because I wanted this to be the undertone of this miniature, so for the skin wise. So we're going to let that dry and we're going to move on to some toxic mist, and this is going to be for his face. Now his face has a little bit more of a green hue, so we're going to come back and fix that up later on. Now if you guys are sick of seeing these guardians being painted on the channel, let me know down in the comments, and what I can do is just paint the entire series and then post a video of what they all look like in the end. Or if you like seeing each one individually painted, let me know as well, and I'll continue making these videos. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Alright, moving on to Necromancer Cloak. We're going to be doing the entirety of its head dressing here, or helmet, or I don't even know what you call these parts. Anyways, Necromancer Cloak goes on really well. I had to put a second coat on just to get the depthness that I wanted. It's also good that if it doesn't go on too thick, because then you don't lose any of the details. For the first layer of dry brushing, we're going to use some Brain Matter Beige, and I use one of the extra large Masterclass dry brushes from the Army Painter. Just slightly brushing it over all of the skin parts. Doesn't matter if you get it on some of the other parts of it, because you're going to be painting over it anyways. And for the final dry brushing layer, we're going to use some Tyrant Skull, just to bring a little bit of beige back into that skin, but not too much. You just really slightly cover it, and it gives it a nice looking skin color. Then we're just going to do a quick little dry brush of Hellion Green on that face, just to have a little bit of mixed color. Then we're going to be doing its fur with some Oak Brown, and I never realized that the Oak Brown is actually very shiny. But you'll see that at the end too. It still stays like that even with a wash afterwards. Alright, now we're going to be doing these majestic wings of his with some crystal blue. This is such a beautiful color. So bright, and it goes on so well, and it makes these wings just pop on this miniature. While we let the wings dry, we're going to do a little dry brushing of Filthy Cape on that head dressing, just to give it this like tattered look, a little bit used. And it doesn't matter like if you go over the top part again where I already did some, because there's some gold that's going to go on that later on. Alright, now we're going to use some Mars Red, just for certain details on this head part. This was the color I should have stuck with all the red parts, because it's really nice on this miniature. Anyways, very simple, you just do a few little straps. You'll see there's a few little areas on this miniature that you use this color. You can use anything else that has like a orangey red to it. If you want, you can even go with a really bright red if you want to, but I think that would be a little overkill on the brightness. Alright, now for the 3 stars on its headpiece, we're going to use some Arid Earth. Could have used some gold here, but it didn't look like it was very shiny in the artwork, so I just wanted to keep it simple and just have them pop a little bit more on that headrest. So here we go. Alright, now we're moving on to Dragon Red, and this one was so bright, but it's okay, it's really good. It works for what I did, but I could have used like a metallic color. And then I realized after, I should have painted all these little parts. I should have done the gold first, technically, because then I'm trying to work with the gold after with this. Anyways, it was a mess. But it just didn't shake well. Even with a mixing ball in there, it was so tough. I put it in the shaker. Anyways, any red color here. Again, you can use the Mars Red again on all these parts here if you wanted to. And I forgot to do a part on the wing here with the Mars Red, so I just come back to that just to finish this part off. And as you can see, it's very different from the Dragon Red. It just has a little bit more orange to it, and it looks nicer on the miniature. Alright, one of the first washes we're going to be doing on this miniature is Blue Tone. Now, I don't know what happened here, and I don't know if it's just because certain Army Painter washes sometimes seem to rub off the paint underneath, because I thought this thing had dried quite a bit, and there were some areas that were just starting to come right off. So you started seeing the primers. You can see there's a little spot there, and I was a little worried about that. I was like, okay, but anyways, when I do the dry brushing later on, it's okay. But I've noticed that a few of these Army Painter washes seem to do this, so be careful when you're applying it, or make sure it's really dry before doing that. And this is just to give those wings even more of a pop, actually. Now we're going to be using some strong tone now, and we're going to be doing this on all of the brown fur, actually. And once again, it makes it a little too shiny, but that's okay. You could always put an anti-shine varnish. You're supposed to spray these whole guys, I've been told anyways, so, but we leave it like that, and it looks pretty nice anyways. And we're going to use a little green tone on the face. This one doesn't rub off the paint. That one's been sitting there for a really long time. But you can see it gives it the green tone, but as well as it keeps that nice toxic mist in the background anyways. Now we're going to use a little fog gray on this flame that's on top of his head. I actually had a little difficulty doing this because I was like, okay, what do I use? What do I not use? I should have just left it like this and put a wash on it. Now we're using a medium masterclass dry brush to do the wings again with some Ice Storm. You just want to get the inside part of the wings and a little touch on the outside, but not too much. And then I'm using some game effects by Vallejo, which is called Verdun. Didn't realize that this was more like an ink, and it actually covered it. I thought it was a wash. I don't know. Anyways, I've only used it like once in the past. Now we're using a little bit of dark stone just to do one of the serpents that's coming out of this Androsphinx's mouth. You might have to do a couple layers of this one because, again, it seems to work more like a... Anyways, it's very watered down, so just a couple times. But it's okay, it's perfect that way because then you keep all the details of the miniature. And you don't want to lose those. You don't want to just glob on some paint, which I originally did when I first started painting. And I'll tell you, it's my mistake. Mummy robes, we're moving on for the next snake coming out of his mouth because he had a dark and a light one. Almost like the yin and yang, I guess. Anyways, pretty cool miniature in my opinion here. Alright, now working a little bit more on that flame. I just want to get some of the details of the flame because like make it look like a light blue on the inside. Anyways, I fixed this off camera, I believe, afterwards, and just try and make this thing look more real. You'll see in the final photo what it does. Now here comes the longest part of this miniature, which just seems like that is the case with a lot of these minis from this game, is the gold. Some people are like, you're going to use a lot of gold. I agree, you do use a lot of gold. So we're using some greedy gold on this miniature here, and there's a lot of jewelry and stuff like that, so I'm going to fast forward through this so you guys can just see what it looks like after I'm done with all the gold. So as you can see, doing all those little pendants and that should have been done before doing the red, because what a mess. Anyways, it turns out pretty good still, and then we're going to move on to the wings and do the gold there, and then we're finally going to move on to the top of the headrest, or headdress. I don't even, headrest, I keep calling it that, but a headdress to finish off the gold parts of this miniature. Slab on a little bit of Sandy Desert by AK Interactive on the base, and you have a nice sandy desert look to the miniature. Now we're using some Nuln Oil pretty much on all the gold, the head dress, the snakes, the face again, the flame, everything that needs to be Nuln oiled. Love this shade, by the way. It's just amazing. It just keeps the details behind it. Like it doesn't even darken too much the areas you're trying to do. It does a great job. So if you're looking for a good shade or a good wash, Nuln Oil in my books wins for that. So the Androsphinx will be all painted and ready for the table. There's a second one to paint as well. I gotta get to that one. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos. Hit that like button and comment down below if you want to keep seeing these Guardians painted on the channel. Have a good day, and we'll catch you in the next one.